Hi guys, this is Mr. J. Now I know you guys have been working quite hard on this properties of that circle over there. So I would like to take this opportunity to share the solutions with some of you, okay, as to how can we actually do the questions, okay. Now over here, what I will do today, or rather tonight, is to let you know what are the things you can look out for when you're doing this type of questions, okay. So if you are ready, please join me and have a good time over here. Now let's just have a look at our exercise. There are, if you notice, about 10 questions over here. So let me very quickly try to go through with you the very important things to look out for. Now, let's start with question number one. Okay, so if you notice about our questions over here, question number one is actually asking you to find the center and the radius of the circle. All right, so basically this is what we know, right? And let's see what we can do over here. So very first thing is, this is already written like that. No, now for some of you who would like to call out the formula directly, you could. So if you want to do that, right, then you must understand that eventually you would have to shift the 9 over. So if you notice this question, right, let me write this for you. Technically, if you're going to complete the square, you would have to group your x together. But for those of you who are not going to do that, okay, you probably want to just divide it away. No, so how can we do that? So now remember, you can just understand that the constants would have to be grouped together onto the other side. Okay, so that is what you need to know. And for us to find the center and the radius, we will just look at the x and the y's, okay? So for this instance, okay, we will know that the x coordinates, right, of the center, okay, let me just write, the x coordinate of the center is literally just, okay, negative 6 over 2, which is actually negative 3. All right. So you must always divide by 2 because if you complete the squares, right, you will realize that you have to divide the so-called the 2ab, right? So this means that you have to divide by 2. And why is it that it has to be negative 3 and not positive 3 is because x is equals to negative 3. So when you move it to the left side, it becomes x plus 3, which satisfy your condition for 6x, okay? So in this case, the same thing applies. That will be, of course, negative 8 divided by negative 2. That will be equivalent to 4. So having a look at this, right, you will realize that your questions actually has a center of negative 3 and 4. Okay, that is actually the center of the circle, the coordinates over here. Okay, so this is what you need to know. All right. Now, so if now you're going to do the so-called the radius, right? Now remember the radius is actually going to be, okay, so you just have to understand because we're adding the completed square on the right side, right? So basically that becomes negative 3 square plus 4 square, okay? Now, if you push the 9 over to the right side, that becomes minus 9, okay? Now, don't forget our so-called equation of circle is in square, so it's actually r squared. So that's why there is a need for you to square root. Okay, so let's do it very quickly. That will be, of course, the square root of, okay, this will be 9. This will be 16, okay, and this will be minus 9. All right, good to go. So your radius in this case is actually going to be the square root of 16, which is actually equals to 4. So your answer for number one is not a problem. It is actually negative 3, 4 as your center. and your radius is actually 4 cm. Okay, so that's how, oh sorry, it's actually 4 units, my bad. Okay, actually 4 units over here. All right, so this is pretty simple, right? Okay, so you just have to divide the coefficient of 6 and the coefficient of, sorry, the coefficient of x and the coefficient of y by -2. Okay, to find the respective centers, and of course for the radius, just do the square root of it. Okay, so that is for number 1. All right, so we're confident enough. Let's together do number 2 now. Okay, so what is about number 2? Let's have a look at it together. Now, number 2 over here, they require us to actually complete the squares. Okay, so they say very specifically using completing the square method. Okay, so we will do that. We will. Okay, so how do we actually complete the square in this case for question number 2? So for question number 2 of this nature, like I told you, you must try to group your x together, right? For instance, something like this, okay? So that means I'm going to group the x squared and the -4x together. And of course, for y squared, that would have to be the case. That would be y squared minus 8y. All right, so we are going to have it like this. And of course, push the constants right onto the right side of the equations. Okay, that's what we must do. Okay, so after we have done this, okay, now it's time to complete the square. So basically, that will be x squared, right, and minus 4x. And in this case, we're going to add, of course, the 4 over 2 squared. Okay, so this is what you're going to add. All right, so take note of that. And for y squared, so this is going to be y squared minus 8y. And this is going to be plus, right? So that will be 8 over 2 squared. Okay. All right. So this is what we have added to try to complete the square. And because you add something on the left-hand side, on your right-hand side, that will be, of course, converting them straight away over here, right? This is what we are expecting it to be. All right, so very quickly, let's complete the squares. That will be x minus 2 whole thing squared. And then, of course, this is just plus y minus 4 to the power of 2. Okay, and now let's go for this. This is going to be a 5 plus 4 plus 16. Okay, so we know very well that this is equivalent to x minus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals to 25. Okay, so you can see very clearly, right, that this is actually our radius of 5. Okay, that is how we can do this type of questions. Right? Okay, so if you have any questions, think about it. All right, so far everybody should be doing good right now because you have done quite a lot of this. All right, so now get ready to go to question 3 with me. We are done with question number 2. Okay, so if you have questions, you can actually try to message me. All right, sometimes I might not get to you at that hour, but I will always try to get back to you on the day itself. Okay, so do be assured that I will get back to you. Okay, right. So now let's go on to question number 3. Okay, now if you look at question number 3, what is actually written over here? All right, so let's have a look at it. Number 3 says, find the equation of the circle. Okay, fine. Fair enough. So get ready to find the center. Get ready to find the radius. Okay, so find the equation of the circle with the line segment AB as the diameter. Okay, so we know now AB is the diameter over here. So what we can do, of course, very simply, we can actually go ahead and do that. So for instance, there's no need to be too extravaganza. You just have to find the midpoint, okay? Midpoint, right? So basically, we will find midpoint of AB, okay? So now if let's say I'm doing part 1, number 3, part 1, right? Midpoint of AB, we'll do it straight away, okay? So in these situations, okay, find the midpoint, and that will be, of course, -2 plus 4 divided by 2, okay? This is what we get for the midpoint, the x coordinate, and then we'll add this together as well, 0.5 over 2, right? This is actually the midpoint, and that is also the center of the circle. So basically, this is 1, this is 2.5 or 5 over 2, okay? So this is what we are supposed to be getting, okay? This is actually considered to be the center of the circle, okay? So once you have got this, okay, time to find the radius, okay? The radius is exactly going to be very simple. So basically, remember, AB is actually the diameter, all right? So radius will be half of this diameter. So what you need to do is to find the distance formula. Okay, so call the distance formula, right? And then, of course, you're going to divide it by, 1 over 2. Right, because it's going to be your radius. Okay, so you can do that, and you're going to find the difference between the x. Okay, so it's 4 minus 2, right, whole thing to the power of 2. Okay, that will be the difference between x. Okay, and we can do the difference between y as well. So that will be, of course, 5 minus 0, whole thing to the power of 2. Okay, so very quickly, let me just work it out. That will be, of course, square root of this is 4 plus 2 is actually 6. 6 to the power of 2 is actually going to be 36 plus 25. Okay. So when you do that, you will find that this is actually square root of 61 over 2. Okay. So this one can be considered to be the radius, right? So now having found this, you can actually rewrite your equations, which is going to be x, because this is x is equals to 1. So basically, this is going to be x minus 1. Okay, do take note of that. So that will be x minus 1 to the power of 2. And of course, the other one will be, you can keep it in the middle decimal, y minus 2.5 to the power of 2. Okay. All right. And this one that you are going to see on the right side, be careful, it's going to be 61 over 4. Okay. You probably want to keep it like this. If not, you can leave it as maybe, a mixed number, whatever, but this is fine with me. So this is what we're going to get for part 1. Okay, that is how we deal with part 1. Now, I'm not going to show you the solution for part 2, but instead, I would like to share with you what is actually our equation for part 2. Okay, so doing the same thing, that means finding the midpoint, taking it as your center. For part 2, this is what you're supposed to be having, right? So let's have a look at it. If I'm wrong or if you're not correct, let's just discuss this when we are free. This is going to be x minus 3 to the power of 2 plus y squared equals to 5. Okay, do check your answers and see whether you have got it correct. Okay, so this is actually the answer for question number 3, part 2. So getting more and more confidence, let's try the next few. Okay, so now we're going to go for the next one together. Okay, so have a look at it with me for number 4, please. Okay, number 4. Now, what is about number 4? Number 4 says, okay, find the equation of the circle, right? We can go for that. The center is given. Oh, that's good to know, which passes through the origin. So basically, the equation of the line, okay, or rather the equation of the circle. Now, the center is 3, -4, and it passes through the origin. What does it mean by passes through the origin? It means that the origin, which is actually supposed to be 0, 0, okay, is on the circumference. Okay, so that means 0, 0 is on the circumference. Okay, now if 0, 0 is on the circumference and you know the center of the circle, we can actually use the distance formula to find the radius, right? Because for question number 4, we are only missing the radius, right? So how do we find the radius? Why am I saying that? Is because you will notice, right? With the center given, I have got it like this already. You notice, right? So basically, this is just y plus 4 squared, but I do not have the value for the radius. So basically, this is left like this, right? So probably we can do something, right? Some of us, we prefer to sub the value, but sub the value sometimes, as I have actually noticed or observed from some of you, you might not be too comfortable with substituting the value, right? So for this reason, then I would like to advise you not to do that instead, okay? Because having the origin, like I told you in class, and also having the center as 3 and -4, you can substitute to create two equations, you see, and of course solve it, like I share with some of you. But the question is, I have observed that some of you has some so-called inconvenience, or you feel uncomfortable doing that. So today I would like you to then change the approach, right? So instead we will find it directly, the radius. And how do we do that? The radius over here is actually your distance formula. So we can do that. So basically r is equivalent to the square root of, okay, and we're going to use the distance formula. So it's going to be 3 minus 0. Why is it 3 minus 0? Because it's x minus x, okay? And this is going to be -4 minus 0, okay? Everything is nice, so let's put it in. You will realize that your answer is actually square root 25, okay? Okay, let me just work it out, all right? You will realize that your answer is actually square root 25. Now, so let's put it back in. So basically you have got x minus 3 holding to the power of 2 plus, right, check your answers, right, that would be of course a y plus 4 squared, right, which is actually equivalent to 25. Notice, because you're going to square your square root 25, right? So your answer for question number 4 is actually as such, okay? Pretty okay, right, everybody? If you feel that I'm going too fast, pause the video and check, okay? All right, everybody comfortable? All right, so think about it. Are you very comfortable with your equation of the circle? Right, if you are, we will continue to the next questions, right? So some of you might be looking at me saying, Sir, or Sir, or Mr. J, number 5, okay, it's very long. Like some of us, we have discussed this, and that is what I intend to do in this video. I would like you to change your approach then, because I am marking some of your books and I realized that, like your question number 15, like some of you might not want to substitute values, okay, because I saw that especially for 1 to 2 students, that some mistakes have been shown. So rather to do that, if let's say in future you see questions that need to substitute, we would like to see whether we can use another approach to actually solve this type of question, okay? So very first thing, let's work it out. Okay, so for instance now, question number 5. Find the equation of the circle whose center is 3, -2 and passes through the point 6, 2. Same thing, question 4 and 5, they are exactly the same, right? You notice? So in this case, probably I want you to do it on your own, because now instead of having the origin at 0, 0, you're going to have the point at 6, 2. So not too difficult. But for a start right now, do not substitute value to form two equations. Huh? So just find the distance between the center and the point, okay, which is considered to be your radius, okay? So I will not want to do that. So basically you can just do it on your own. Okay, so that is what we can do. And the answer is pretty similar to question number 4, right? So you can work it out. You will notice that it's supposed to be x minus 3 square and then plus y plus 2 squared. Okay, so you will see that, and the r squared in this case is 25. So you will do that on your own. I trust that you can do that. This is question number 5. Okay, pretty okay, right, everybody? So now let's go for question number 6. Okay, let's go for questions number 6. Now, there are many ways to do question number 6, in fact, right? You will notice, right, as I emphasized just now, I would like you to try to avoid, okay? Try to avoid so-called trying to substitute value to find two equations, because I realize that some of you might feel uncomfortable. So is there a better way to do this? Okay, we will discuss. Right? So let's talk about number 6 first. All right, number 6 right now. Find the equation of the circle whose center falls on this line and which passes through, A and B over here. All right, so this is what we see, and let's see whether we can do something about it. Okay, so your answer for this must be the same as what I'm going to derive. Now for this one, like I mentioned, we will not substitute value to get two equations because I realize that some of you are really not comfortable with that. So instead, we will do a different way. Okay, so I'm going to do something that might not be the same as some of your classmates. They might be trying to find the midpoint, right? So you can actually check with them, some of them, because some of your other classmates, maybe like Anna, you check with him, or even hashtag, you check with her, but they might not be doing this as what I'm going to do right now. But I think what we're going to do is not that difficult. It's pretty simple. So for instance, let's now you see that it passes through the 2 points already, right? So I can let the center be H and K. So I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to let the center be H and K. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Now I am purposely going to avoid A and B. Do you know why, guys? Because you see my coordinate has the capital A and B. So I told you in class I want to do a small A and B, but I guess I'll change it to H and K for this instance, because I realized there's a big A and there's a big B for the point. So I'll just let the center be H and K. All right. So what happens like that? So remember, this is your X, this is your Y. So that means I can rewrite this as, okay, K is equivalent to 6 minus 2H. All right. Just to rewrite this whole thing, right? Their relationship. Okay. This is the relationship between K and H. Okay. Right. Just to let you know, this is the relationship between K and K and H. Okay. So this is the relationship, just to share with you why I'm doing that right now. All right, so now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to find the distance, all right, from the center to A and B. Catch this, the distance from center to A and B, okay, because they are supposed to be the same, right? Just like I'm actually at the center, I'm going to go to the chords, the 2 points. The distance is supposed to be the same. So what happens? So I'm going to do it right now. So that means I am going to have H plus 2 squared. Okay. Now I'm going to deal with this with coordinate -2, plus K minus 0. Okay, so this is the distance from the center to our point A. Okay, now remember that is actually the radius, right? And that is also equivalent to, all right, so let's do the same thing. We can do H minus 4. All right. Now you might think, sure, wow, this is so complicated. Not quite, okay, because you notice both of them has got square roots. So that means we can disregard the square root later on. Okay, so let's just do that. So what happens next? Check this out, okay? So now we're going to square the left and the right. So what happens is I have got h plus 2 squared, okay? I have got, of course, there's a k, obviously. So sorry, my bad. Okay, and then we have got the h minus 4 squared. Can you catch what I'm doing here? So basically, this is what you're going to see. All right. Now, have a look at this, guys and girls. The k can be cancelled off. You notice? So what happened is, of course, you now have h plus 2 squared equals to h minus 4 squared. All right. So you can square it straight away or you can expand it. But as you know, we can do it like this because both of them are square. So I can rewrite this as, this is a very lazy way of doing things. So sorry about that. But you can because both of them has got square. So it can be either negative h minus 4 or, okay, h plus 2 is equivalent to just a h minus 4, right? Okay, so this is what you will see. And of course, very quickly, let's put it in. So this is going to be negative h plus 4, okay? And this is just, going to be something that you don't really need to find, okay? So in this case, we can find that in our case, 2h is equals to 2, okay? And h is equals to 1, okay? Can you follow? So very simple. This is another way of finding it, okay? That means h is equals to 1. And being that case, you can now substitute, okay? H is equals to 1 into our k. Let's go for that, huh? So now k is equivalent to 6 minus 2 times 1, which is actually equivalent to 4. Okay, knowing this, you can see now, guys, your center, right? Just write this with me, please, okay? Your center is actually going to be 6, oh, sorry, my bad. Your center is going to be 6 and 4, okay? Just do that way, okay? Oh, sorry. Is 1 and 4. My bad. I keep thinking about 6. I do not know why. Sorry about that, huh? So basically, let me repeat. I keep thinking of the 6, okay? The center is going to be 1 and 4, okay? What am I thinking about, okay? It's going to be 1 and 4, okay? Because your h was 1, remember? So your k is 4 as we have found. So this is your center, okay? Now, you're almost there, okay? But one more thing is there a way to find the radius, right? So everything is there. In fact, this is the start of your final answer already, right? So center 1 and 4, any way we can actually find the radius? Of course we could, right? Because you know that the center is over here. Now, how do you find the radius? You can pick any point, okay? Remember the radius was over here just now? So we'll pick any point. So basically the radius equals to square root. So let me pick the first one, h plus 2 over here, okay? So that will be, of course, 1 plus 2 square, right? So very quickly, let me just write that down, okay? And then, of course, the other thing is you have got a 4 minus 0. So basically, that'll be 4 minus 0 square, right? So everything is nice. We have got the 16 plus 9, I guess. Okay, so basically that will be 25. Okay, r is going to be square root of 25. Okay, and of course, you probably know your equation of the circle is going to be x minus 1 squared. All right, let's go for the next one. Plus, all right, go for that. You can do it. Y minus 4 squared. Okay, equals 25. All right, so basically your two answers are here in front of you. So you will notice, right, this really beats the need to substitute value, right? But however, like I mentioned, this week, or rather, we are going to learn intersection of lines, okay, not chords, with circles that might need us to substitute, okay? So sorry to tell you that. But other than that, if let's say it happens within the line, the circle itself, I think we have better ways to solve the questions than to do it by simultaneous equations, right? So just forget about simultaneous equations since I have noticed that some of you not so comfortable with it. So we will just let it be, okay, for questions that are of that nature, okay? Right, so this is actually your solutions I have actually shared with you for question number 6, okay? All right, fair enough. Comfortable? We'll do number 7 right now, okay? Have a look at it, okay? Number 7. What is actually question number 7? Okay, question number 7 says, okay, find the equation of the circle which passes through 4, 1, 6, 5, and the center falls on the line 4x plus y equals to 16. Hey, it looks very similar, right, with question number 7. So I am not going to go through the solutions, but I want to share the answers with you, right? So, so that you can compare and check with me. Okay, it's basically going to be the same strategy that you can use. Okay, so question number 7, you can write it as the equation x. This is question number 7, huh? X minus 3 to the power of 2. Okay, and of course this is going to be plus, okay, y minus 4. Okay, go for that. And the answer that I'm getting for the r squared is actually equals to 10. All right, if I'm not correct, let me know. All right, so you can use the same strategy of 6 and 7. Okay, so probably you are comfortable with that. We are good to go for 6 and 7. All right, everybody feeling good, right? So if you are feeling good, we will continue, okay? So everybody feeling good, huh? Let's continue with question number 8, all right? Now, have a look at question number 8 with me. They say, right, write down, okay, the coordinates of the center C of the circle. Oh, okay, so if you want to find, use the formula to find, you could, right, okay, the line, okay, blah, 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 okay, cuts the circles at points A and B. All right, so basically this is actually from 7.2 in our textbook. So this one requires, you look at this one needs substitution, okay? This one needs substitution because this is a line and it actually uses the word intersects, you know? So we have to substitute, find the coordinates of A and B and calculate the area of the triangle ABC. So very quickly, number 8, So the very first thing you must do for number 8 is of course find the coordinates of the center of the circle. So let's go for that, and we will see that the coordinates, okay, of the center, or we call that the center coordinates, okay, and let's see. All right, we can do that, and okay, let me just write it nicely. Sorry about that. I'm using the mouse to write. So let's go for this. Okay, check this out. For that, we have to divide by 2, right? So that will be, of course, look at this. The coefficient of x is -4, right? So -4 over -2, okay? And comma, go for that. And this is -8 over -2, okay? Pretty simple, right? So basically that will be just 2 and 4. That will be the center coordinates C, all right? We call that center C. The coordinate that we are expecting, all right, is actually 2 and 4. All right, pretty okay, huh? So this is what we are expecting it to be, right? So everybody is comfortable, right? So this is what we have, and we will continue to do the next one, right? Basically, the line y equals to 3x minus 7 cuts the circle, okay? So what you can do over here is this. All right, you can actually try to find. Okay, so this is for number 8, huh? So we can do that, and we will actually substitute first. Okay, how do you find that coordinate of 8? Now realize this. Okay, they are actually on the circle itself. Okay, they are actually on the circle itself. So if you write the equation of this circle, right, this is going to be like this. That will be, of course, x squared plus y squared minus 4x minus 8y equal minus 5 equals 0, right? So very interestingly, you see that we have a relationship of y is equals to 3x minus 7, right? What you can do, of course, is to square that if you want. If not, you can complete the squares or do whatever you need to actually form the so-called the equation of the circle. We will do that. So firstly, let me go for the equation of circle. So that will be, of course, x minus 2 square. All right. And that will be plus, okay, y minus 4 square. Okay, very. Now, why am I doing that? You will see why now. Okay, and of course the 5, if I throw it to the right side, it's gonna be 5. All right, and that will be 5, and then I'm gonna add, okay, add um 4, which is actually 2 square plus 4 square. Okay, some of you might say, sure, it should be negative, but you don't really need to worry so much. Okay, so basically that will be, of course, 16, that will be 25. Okay, so the radius is actually just 5, okay, in this situation now. But you need to have this formula out first because I want you to use this intersection. Okay, because y is equal to 3x minus 7. So what is it that I'm saying here? Have a look at it. X minus 2 square, okay, and then of course plus, okay, now you will change this over here. So it's actually 3x minus 7, right? So it's going to be 3x minus 7 minus 4 minus 11 squared. Okay, hope everything is okay with you guys, huh? So this is equivalent to 25, okay? Now, obviously, there will be two values, okay? One of them representing the coordinates of A, one of them representing the coordinates of B. All right, so please understand. So I will very quickly do that with you. So basically, this is an expansion that I'm getting. So this is going to be, let me expand this, x squared minus 4x, okay, plus 4, okay? And this is going to be plus 9x squared. All right, very big, huh? And then minus, okay, this is 11 times 3, 33 minus 66x. And this is plus 121. All right, and then let's bring the 25 over. Minus 25 equals to 0. Okay, so pretty good, everybody. So now let's go for the x. We have got x squared and 9x squared. We'll make it 10x squared. Okay, we have got negative 4x, we have got negative 77x, so that'll be negative 70x, right? Pretty okay for everybody, right? And then of course we have got 4, and okay, basically that will be just 100. Okay, everything nice, huh? Good to go. And then we will divide by 10, so we have got x squared minus 7x. Okay, everything is nice for us, huh? And then plus, okay, good for us. We got a 10 over here. You will notice probably we have got 5 and 2, okay? So basically it's actually x minus 5. All right, and then of course it could be x minus 2 equals to 0. All right, so everything is nice. So you have x squared minus 2x and minus 7x. And then of course this is, and of course in your case now, x could be equals to 5, x could be equals to 2. Okay, so basically you can see that the x coordinate for A and B is as such. You have got 5 and 2. And of course you can now substitute because you know the relationship. It is actually y is equals to 3x minus 7, right? So now let's go for the x is equals to 5. So when x is equals to 5, okay, that will be 3 times 5, okay, which is 15, correct? So that will be 15 minus 7, which is actually equivalent to 8. So one pair of them that we have over here will be 5 and 8, okay? That will be, you can assign it to be coordinate of A, no problem. The other one, of course, is when x is equals to 2. Oh, that would be negative 1, right? So I will just keep the working. So it's just 3 times 2, 6, 6 minus 7, negative 1. So our case over here is 2 and negative 1. All right. So basically, this is what you should be getting. 5, 8, 2 and negative 1. Okay. So basically, you have got A and B, and you also have your center of the circle, which is actually 2 and 4, right? So let's assign this as an A, and this is B, okay? And obviously, your C is 2 and 4, right? So this one, you need to write that down. So now, having all this coordinates, okay, let's go for the area of the triangle, okay? Now, how do you do that? Okay, now this is part of what I share with you guys about the shoelace method. You have to actually use the shoelace method because this triangle might not be along the same plane. It might be along the same plane, but I do not want you to take too long to think about it. If you can see that is along the same so-called level of same plane, okay, good for you. But if you cannot see that, then of course you might want to do something different, okay? Now, so for us, if you cannot do that, then you have to call the shoelace method, and it is going to be like such, okay? So firstly, area of the triangle. So let's go for that. So how do you do that, okay? So to do that, you must actually start with a point first and go so-called anti-clockwise. Some of us we call that. So we can do that obviously. So very interestingly, we can start with maybe A first, okay? All right, so we have 5, 8, and then 2, negative 1. Okay, let's see whether it makes sense for us. Okay, because this formula must be done actually with an anti-clockwise manner. But let me just try that first. So basically that will be 5, 8. Okay, that means this is your x, this is your y. Okay, and then of course you will go for, assuming it's anti-clockwise, 2 and negative 1, and then of course 2 and 4. Okay, so why am I doing that? It's because you need to list out your x and y and then repeat back to 5 and 8 to close the shape. Okay, now what happens over here is you have to use the formula. How does the formula work? Okay, why is there a modular sign here? Because it must be an absolute value that you're going to get, because area is an absolute value, right? So right now, put the half there still and find this out for me. Okay, so very firstly, let's go for this. Now you have to multiply the over here. That will be 5 times negative 1, okay, plus 2 times 4, okay, plus, okay, catch this, 2 times 8. Now, after that, you are going to subtract, okay, subtract what, you might ask me. All this must be subtracted away, okay. So how does it work? You can actually go for minus 8 and 2, all right, minus negative 1 and 2, minus 4 and 5. Okay, so let's try to see what is the answer that we should be getting. So let's go. So this is going to be negative 5. This is going to be 8. All right. This is 16. This is negative 16. All right, so this is going to be this is plus 2, right, minus 20. So let's see what we have. So this is going to be a half. That will be, of course, 16 minus 16. We don't have anything left. Right, so this is negative 25. Okay. So our answers is supposed to be half of 25, which is supposed to be 12.5 over here. All right, so basically the area of the triangle technically should be 12 and 12.5 units squared. Okay, this is what you should be getting, 12.5 units squared. All right, so this is what you can check for yourself. Are we getting it correct? Okay, so that's what you can do, huh? All right, so basically this is actually question number 8. Now, what about question number 9? Question number 9, it's as such, okay. Um, okay, let me just pause for a while to go to the next video. All right, just hang on for a while.